What is up, everybody? Excited to have back on Pat Kerrane for our last stream of the summer. Hearing some funny music from Pat in the background, so I'm sure he's
some sirens today in Brooklyn. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, I'm well unaware of the New York sounds. So Pat, how you doing today? First and foremost.
Doing good. We're gonna rip a drafters draft today. I'm excited to do that. Haven't done a ton of drafters over there, but I do see a ton of mentions of the overlay from you and Davis trying to get.
Well, I've not said this to Davis yet, but here's what I've noticed on my end is I post about it, and 1 minute later, Davis with the bigger account posts about it, and I'm like, I'm basically just reminding Davis to post about this, but whatever, like it's not the first time a bigger creator's taken from a smaller.
Wow, so there's like beef in the drafters referral code streets.
There's no beef. It's just it's just twice now. 1 second later, and I know Davis is not thinking. He's just like, oh yeah, I should jump on that too. I've been a little testy with the amount of drafts I've done, not taking shit from really anyone. Some low reading comprehension in my tweets, and I just unleashed on a poor dude who.
Oh no,
really? I gave an example. I was like, if the contest only filled 60%, this is how you can think about it. And he took it as, it will not fill 60%. I'll book 100K. I'm like, dude, what does the word if mean to you? I'm trying to give an easy number example. If the contest only filled 64.5, shut the fuck up. Anyways, before we jump into the draft today,
it's fun. Isn't this a fun time of year? We're all having fun.
This is a lot of fun, guys. If you guys could help me out, you can see I'm at 969. That's a nice number. Subscribers. I'll replace the scroll bar with 1,000 out of 1,000,000. That's the next goal. No, just kidding. The scroll bar can be put to rest. You can sign up on Drafters with promo code Cheslium, or Pat, what's your account name on Drafters?
Probably Daily Rojo.
Promo code Daily Rojo if you need to get up and running. Test that out in the waters too. Before we jump into the draft today, Pat, two things I want to talk to you. Let's try to put a bow on our feelings for the offseason. We've done a lot of drafts together. You're my most common guest, I think, for my underdog ones. Davis has got to be up there too, but you released an article that we didn't really get a chance to debrief yet, the legendary RB article. We don't have time to really go through the whole thing, but maybe do a 5-minute summary of that and some of the targets or some of your takeaways from the article and a target or two.
So in the article, it's research that I did last year that kicked this off, and I used best ball win rates to kind of illustrate this, but I do think it's sort of better applied to managed leagues because for the reasons
almost better applied to drafters. If there's a legendary RB, you need them in drafters. You don't.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, maybe more for drafters as well. But because in best ball and underdog, it's still very helpful to have a kind of a Zeke Elliott season isn't going to sink you as much in a best ball format because you still have someone filling those points and no one can catch you on waivers. And the guys who have the elite wide receivers, you can catch them a little bit with volume. So in managed, if you have one of these legendary seasons from a running back where they have 23 plus points per game, they play basically the whole year, then you can pair that with startable wide receivers and you kind of do a hero running back build, and it's so hard to catch you, especially because those RB2 points are just super replaceable. You can find them on waivers. You can find them through pass catching guys. So taking really big swings on running back in the early rounds is what I'm advocating, and looking for guys who fit the profile of the types of running backs who have turned these seasons in the past. You generally see that they're younger than you might expect. Pass catching is so important. We know it's important, but it's probably even more important than you think. You're also looking for guys who have elite offensive lines, preferably. That's something that we should probably put more weight on. And so some targets that came out of it, I think DeAndre Swift looks really enticing. He's got the receiving profile. He's got potentially an elite offensive line. having
I've
a
been
super
smashing
efficient
Swift all season.
He's a nice one. The passing efficiency for a team isn't maybe like as key. It doesn't hurt to have a really efficient passing offense, but I think like you can probably be at a sufficient level there, and if you've got the offensive line and you've got the receptions flowing through you and you've got enough goal line work, because all these guys are going to need to score a ton of touchdowns to hit this type of season, then you'll be fine even on a team like the Lions. And to that point, I think Saquon Barkley's a target just because he's got massive receiving ability and receiving opportunity.
Like, I've been the Swift versus Barkley conversation. I usually, like, on the clock, best ball, I usually just click Swift. And if Swift is gone, I click Barkley.
That's how I am.
Are you doing as extreme strategy as me, or are you kind of like, and I do alternate it occasionally, just like, okay, like this time we'll do Barkley, but are you kind of doing like sometimes Swift, sometimes Barkley, or are you just prioritizing the younger guy, better O-line, and then Barkley's a nice consolation?
On underdog, I'm more prioritizing Swift.
Especially underdog, yeah.
Yeah. I think on DraftKings and stuff, you can mix it up a little bit more, but I do feel like Barkley really only has the one out. It's like he just gets a ton of receiving volume, but they're not going to score a lot of touchdowns.
No competition is the other big boom for him. Like we're not a fans of his competition. Whereas like Jamal Williams is at least a leader on that team, and like if you believe Hard Knocks, the coach loves him, and blah blah blah.
And he'll get work. The nice thing about a guy like Swift is like he can get there the same way that like Kamara's gotten there. He's explosive. He catches passes. He can seed touches. He doesn't need to have 100% of even the goal line work. Where Barkley, I'm much more worried about. Their offensive line is not very good. Their passing offense could be very inefficient. Also, like they were actually pretty pass first offense last year under Jason Garrett when Daniel Jones was there. They passed a lot on 1st and 10. They were fairly pass heavy overall. So I know Dayball's going to be a better offense coordinator than Jason Garrett by a lot, but I don't know that there's like that much room for him to, just in terms of like kind of just raw tendencies. Like they already were passing a lot. So, I do like Barkley. I think he's a target, but Swift, it feels like he can kind of get there more through the explosion as well as just maybe things break right volume wise.
Yeah, it's the boom bust nature of Barkley that's really appealing too, where it's like managed maybe a little bit less, but best ball, it's like, yeah, give me those 80-yard breakaway runs. How about Kamara versus Aaron Jones? I, in a little bit in an island, am a little bit more Jones. On drafters, I'm more prone to do some Kamara. Both. With Kamara, for me, it's like I realize his competition is a lot worse for the running back room. However, I do think the presence of Jarvis, if Michael Thomas is running slants like that, and Jameis Winston could be a little bit of a ding there. And I mean, it's like splitting hairs, but with like Jones, I know some people are more scared off by AJ Dillon, but I'm just viewing like the absence of Devontae Adams as like this could be a very rare generational opportunity to get like a heavy wide receiver piece and the running back piece. And the way that Jones gets there is like he gets there with like literally 60-yard targets down the field sometimes. Like those types of wheel routes,
So I like Jones. I think Kamara has a bigger ceiling. Jones concerns me because he's old. I think he turns 28. Like in December or something, and Kamara's also, I think Kamara's maybe a year younger, so it's not like a huge difference. But
yeah,
when you have a guy like Jones who's nearing sort of the end of his like elite running back career, and he's never had 4 receptions per game.
Who do you think's had more carries though in their career, Kamara versus Jones? Because Kamara's been way more bell cow, whereas like Jamal
last
Williams,
year he was for sure. Yeah, and Kamara's rushing efficiency cratered last season, which is like super concerning for an older back, and that's like part of the research for me is that like Kamara is an older back. Like once you hit 26, 27, like you are an older back.
Kamara,
Cook
Jones,
is an older back. Yes,
Mixon,
all those guys. Mixon, Henry for sure. All these guys are older backs.
Nez, we're not in the lobby yet. I just want to debrief with Pat before we jump in.
So I think Kamara's more boom bust because he might no longer be that guy, but we also have seen that they are just willing to flow the offense through him. Last year was too much rushing. That was too much. Let's go back to where you're throwing to him more. Jones, they never have done it. They've done it for a few games at times. I know the Devontae Adams splits are awesome, but it's such a small sample. It's tough for me to trust that ceiling exists over the course of a whole season.
We cannot ignore the fact that Kamara used to be gettable in the 3rd and 4th round.
Yeah.
So how do you factor that in at this point in the offseason? Is that a tie break for you, or is it not?
Sorry about the sirens here, guys.
Hey, man, I used to live in New York City. I feel part of I think of bodegas when I hear that. It puts me right in there. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have some of him too from when he was going in the 3rd and 4th round. So that then makes me more uneasy about taking him at the 203 or whatever.
Yeah, I have a start on the FFPC main event, probably the only one that goes Swift, Andrews, Kamara in the from the 12 hole, Kamara at that spot in the 12, which is
that's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice, and it's ooh, I think I got my one Kamara share. I don't see the need to take him in the second.
I'm looking up Best Ball Mania. I have 7% Kamara. My average ADP is 34. So, I guess it would be. I'm not opposed to mixing in some second round Kamara, but it's nice when you have
It's not that big a deal to take a riser, especially when you're talking 2nd versus 3rd and 4th round players, because 3rd and 4th round players can easily match the ceilings of 1st and 2nd round players in week 17 or whatever.
For sure. It's just that he scares me. So I'm I love that I got him at the discounted price, but
yes. If there's anything we do know, NFL loves drama. It is primarily business. What is more dramatic than releasing the video of Kamara?
I don't think they want that drama.
Right on the court. Hey, any drama.
Any drama? I don't think they like any drama.
You don't think that would be a 24-hour news cycle thing?
Yeah, but they don't want that. That would just ruin their whole week.
It's not a reflection on the NFL. It's a reflection on Kamara. I don't know.
I think the NFL would not be happy in the middle of the season if they have to deal with the Alvin Kamara fallout of the video comes out.
Maybe they're able to prevent it.
All right, when is the World Series? Is that your theory? Whenever the World Series is, whatever week that is, you're gonna.
Well, hey, we can't forget that the World Cup is happening in fall this year.
Oh, okay. Actually, they do need to recapture the news cycle, so maybe
the World Cup competing against the NFL is a first time ever. Ryan, I didn't know the Soulcast was happening. This is the time Pat provided to me. We are allies with the Soulcast.
Let's go head to head. We're going head to head with the
Soulcast. I would never go head to head with the Soulcast. Come on.
We are right now.
Well, I never on purpose is what I meant. All right. Well, if you had to take whatever 1 to 2 or 3 things that you learned this best ball season, or whatever you want to say about it, put a bow on the best ball season before we jump into today's draft.
What did I learn in best ball season? I don't know. I mean, I feel like one thing I've been trying to think through is the purpose.
Do you wish you did more teams early versus late? Like anything like that?
Yeah, I guess I feel pretty good about my early versus late stuff. I think one thing in the early versus late stuff is it is hard as you're doing the early teams to realize just sort of how risky it is that you are
and how you should be building to best take advantage of the earliness
of the chaos. Yeah, but I think I probably would have built more 7 running back teams in the early window as zero running back teams.
This year compared to last year for early reasons, this year we were not drafting Brashad Perryman. We were not drafting a bunch of those guys who sure. There's some Tim Patrick out there, but
he was. I mean, that's an ACL tear. You don't know.
And our late round draft selections were second round, third round rookies and veterans that are making teams. We weren't drafting a ton of the Trey Sermons and like I feel like last year way more dudes like Tyrell Williams of the line, like there's way more guys like that, which like hurt the early where there's not as many zeros. Like when I look at my early teams, like sure, like Jameson Williams was more expensive when I was taking him. There's like cases like that, but overall, you know, like even more action down early. Like, and that was my takeaway from last year, and I did it this year, and for underdog it felt good. But yeah, like John Brown last year, you know, like.
Yeah, and I guess some of the guys I was worried about, I had some Kenyon Drake. Maybe that'll work out. I had a decent amount of Sony Michel.
You might have lucked into that, yeah.
But Spiller's probably dead. Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah.
My Rojo bags aren't looking too good. Luckily, I cooled off.
Did you see the
that was a big early
yesterday
season.
of how many
10+
point PPR points do you think Ronald Jones will get this year? And I put like 0 as an option. I put 1 to 2. It was like the 0 option is just to be like people that hate him, right? And then it's like 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, and then 6+. And some interesting results. 6+, 10 points.
I wouldn't click 6+.
Well, and like 10's not doing anything for you really, but whatever. Like 15 is. Anyways, let's jump into the drafter, guys. We got 2 more. So Pat, I'm gonna send you. We can't name the teams here, so I'm just gonna send you this team in a DM when we finish. And if you see me tweeting about the 250K and you're like, hold up here, we'll give you that.
Wait one goddamn second.
All right. Let's go to this view. So we pulled the 110. Davis is in here. Wow.
Oh,
Davis. Man. Davis. Oh, is the Swolecast doing a drafters draft right now, or is Davis doing a drafters while on the Swolecast?
Well, it's starting now. They can't be starting It's 125. Didn't they kick off at 1?
That.
Davis is just firing. He's just firing a draft.
Like, hey, I gotta get these teams down.
Davis is chasing overlay.
Someone go check in on the Soulcast stream and update them.
Let them know.
We're not narking on them though, you know.
Well, I think it does count as a narc. You did just tell them to go tell them.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. This was a funny comment from Mackenzie. Over under 2.5 one last streams for next Thursday. That made me laugh. Chris G in here. Wow, at 143. At worst case, I'm getting my 150 in on drafters. I would auto my 40 if I had to. And on auto drafting on drafters is pretty friendly to you. A, you can set positional limits. B, you can upload ranks. C, correlation is not essential.
Right, that's true.
That Crack Rock stream the other night was pretty, always hilarious, but rough room you guys were in, man.
Right.
It's just, I see this in the DK 555s too. From the 12 hole, very often you're not loving your choices at round 5, 6 and rounds 7, 8 sometimes, where it's like, and you guys just like got in your own weird like room where everyone was trying to like one up each other and wide receivers. Like
Gabe Davis of those guys 303, so it's that kind of room.
Yeah, and like some of the you don't start with 12 wide receivers if you go 0 RB. Like you're not winning the contest that way, big man.
Big man.
You're ruining your chance of winning too, but like you're not winning yourself.
Yeah, it was frustrating because I thought the room might pivot to running backs a little bit more than they did.
Well, they should have, but like whatever. You're chatting, Pierce. Well, let Davis be on the DL then, guys.
Have you drafted on NFC at all this year?
No. Is that like FFPC, but just?
It's not.
What's the buy-in and what's the first prize?
It's so we're doing. We did a 5K league last year, and we won it, and we took money off the top, and we're doing the 10K this year. That's the only one I'm doing over there. Yeah.
Oh, is it like cash? Okay, so we're here. Do we want to grab Cook? Do you want to grab Swift? Do you want to grab?
I love
Adams?
Swift. I'd do Adams and see if we can get one of the running backs come around. That'd be fun.
All right, let's do Adams. I build 0 RB on drafters too. I know it's thinner, but like the way I do it is like 6 to begin, and then just like
They
8
just hammer
darts or something like that. And obviously that was better early in the offseason when I was doing it, where those teams have Pierce on them. They have, some of them at least. So, like they have some of those pieces. Let's make our last pick, and then you can catch me up on the NFFC. Do you want to go Swift here?
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Perfect start.
All
right.
Yeah, so the NFC, so that's the only league I'm doing over there, but it's third round reversal is their big thing. So it's PPR, not tight end premium, just regular PPR.
Dude, last year third round reversal must have crushed, because the best place to draft last year was from the late rounds.
That's what we did. We won the league like going away from the 12th because we.
Yeah, but you can get like JT, like you could.
We did all the things. It was Kelsey, JT, AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown, and then we got Jamar Chase and Swift.
That's the thing, is like third round reversal is not like, okay, this year it feels really strong to be the 1-2, but whatever. CMC goes down, JT goes down. Third round reversal, you're getting buried if you're early,
Yeah. So that's where I've been. The reason I ask is because I hate the 4-5 turn. I don't always hate it, but I can hate it. And, no, sorry, not the 4. The 3-4 turn I don't love, and then the 5-6 turn is just not that fun. There's never guys on the 5-6 turn that I'm like psyched about. Quarterbacks, there's some good quarterbacks there, but I feel like the wide receivers.
Is it 10K buy-in tournament format, or is it just cash?
No, it's a cash league. 10K
so like 100K to first or something. Is it 10-man rooms, 12-man rooms?
It's a 12-man room. Yeah, I should check with the first place.
Maybe they do like 80K to first then.
I think it's probably more like that, and then because there's money for regular season finish and second and third.
Second and third? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it really depends how steep they do that. Reed asks, do you think Marlon Mack was bad process this year? I do. I have 0% Mack other than a guest stream or two where someone really wanted him. I think it was bad process because I just remember reading a while ago when he was with the Colts that like he had some of the worst advanced stats in the league. Like he was purely a process of his good O-line. And like dude who was questionable to make the team obviously didn't. And then on a bad team with a rookie and a guy who has consistently stuck around in Burkhead. Who you feeling, Pat? We could go Connor. Man. Connor, like early season's important. We could go Gabe Davis. We could go ETN.
Yeah, I'd say those would be the three that jump out. Maybe Davis just because he's not coming back.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. And then
with Davis on the turn, I'm figuring.
Well, and no one's really incentivized to take Josh Allen here. We know Davis will not, if he's paying attention, which is nice. Like I know he's out on Josh Allen, so like that. We only had to fade Big Blue. And I'm Marquise in this range, but if you feel stronger about.
Are you into Terry at all? I'm not taking a lot of Terry, but.
Not really.
What about Judy? I'm starting to get pretty psyched about Judy.
I'm most in on Marquise, but I would take Judy if you want to. I'm just so confident Marquise smashes.
I think let's do Judy. I feel like I'm not getting enough of him.
Okay.
I like Marquise too.
I do have some round 5 Judy. Marquise to me, like, it just has so many 30-point weeks in him that some of these other guys do not.
That's a good argument.
And like for cumulative points format, like he also has some 40-point weeks in him, like where tougher to say that about some of the other guys. You could see Marquise catching 2 80-yard bombs in one game.
For sure. That's very easy to see.
And obviously the fast start with him, where not only is Rondale injured, also Ertz is injured, also Hopkins is not playing and maybe just dust. and you have that college connection, and Kyler exceeds at the deep ball where Lamar does not. So like that, all those things have just been I am Judy, and it's on DK. Judy, Marquise has fallen to the top of the fifth, which is just casuals. I would say the casual crowd is down on Marquise. I mean on Kyler.
They're really down. He's fallen to the 6th.
He falls to like the end of the 6.
It's crazy.
Even in the high stakes. Any past the Spiller production, the way I'm playing that now is only Eckler, and I'm not drafting any of those guys. No more Josh Kelly, no more Spiller, no more.
I agree. I would not take any more Spiller. He's already gone to. I was in a draft today, and I think his ADP is like already 18th round. Like,
he is, yeah. And on DK, he's like in the 220s or something.
Yeah.
So maybe whatever. So round 20 Spiller, that's fine. It's not that different than me drafting Jeff Wilson last year, where it was like later season play.
Yeah. But I don't think Spiller's dead. Like,
no, I don't think he is either.
I just don't think he's a good bet
I would
anymore.
most likely draft Spiller versus
Sony.
Kelly and dude, Sony for me, like, if the thing that really has me alarmed with Sony is he failed a physical, and then I feel like the Dolphins just pushed him through because they wanted the body, and then they cut him, and then the Chargers are just, I think, being like, hopefully you heal up during the season is how I'm taking that. Like clearly he's going through some shit.
Yeah. See, this turn sucks. Like I just don't like it. There's just nothing here. I kind of do. Maybe we should have taken Brown.
I really want Godwin.
Okay, Godwin's cool.
I think Godwin is we're lucky this happened. You don't get, like, usually he's being pulled up here, I feel. And so I do agree with you. If Godwin was gone, then it's like, oh, fine, Metcalf. But Godwin, like, I don't know. When do you think he plays?
I mean, he might play week 1.
If he plays week 1, we just got probably the wide receiver 1 who, like, would you over under wide receiver 10 on the season if Godwin plays week 1 fully healthy?
I think it's one of those things where, like, regardless of what happens, he's probably. I'm good with Mooney.
Mooney? Yeah, I really like Mooney for drafters.
Elijah Moore would be the other guy I'd float.
I'm way more Mooney
almost because of the Flacco thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Mooney is the guy where correlates well with Fields. It has no one for target competition again. And the way Mooney wins is down the field, which is like just like the big spike weeks there. And it's really nice that we got different buys for our 5 wide receivers, where it lets us do a bit more extreme format where we could stop at 6 wide receivers, but definitely 7, I would say, and just throw some extra pieces at tight end or quarterback or running back or really wherever we feel we need to. Stacks with Carr on the table, Brady, Russ, Fields, all are Goff, even, like some quarterbacks that align with our tier 2. How do you feel about hero RB for drafters?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Versus like dual.
Yeah, I mean
how Chris is building here. Like he went Taylor, Fournette, and then filling out the flex with the wide receivers and tight ends and blah blah blah.
Taylor Fournette's interesting because I would still be taking like big swings at running back to close it out, because like that way, like Fournette isn't that great in like the final weeks of the season. Obviously, he could be, but that's my worry with him. But if you are still getting a lot of the contingent guys or just kind of breakout profiles at running back, I mean, Fournette's going to score a lot of points to start the season. Like there's no question about that.
And like everyone in Tampa could benefit from a bunch of pieces are old and or injured, So like, there's contingent value for everyone in the offense. Like Mike Evans goes down, and goodbye goal line fade 1 yard toss ups. Those are now Fournette carries.
Well, Julio's there too.
Well, sure, but like
Julio
Julio's
getting red zone
been,
targets for the first time in his career. That sounds
well, but he's just not Mike Evans in that sense. Where like I think like Fournette most benefits from a Mike Evans injury in a weird way. Like you just wouldn't expect it. Where they just start running the ball.
I actually wonder if he benefits from the center injury stuff, because like Brady is not going to sit back there and take hits. He's getting that ball out. So there might be more dump offs to Fournette than usual.
How worried are you about snap counts, about Godwin not being 100% for a while? Mackenzie, closing my eyes and betting on talent, man. I don't think it's a bigger concern for redraft because you don't have to start him.
No, it's less of a concern, I think.
Should we just buy this dip on JK?
It's round 7. I think we kind of have to.
Pick 80. Yeah.
Did Russ go? We lost Russ.
There's plenty of quarterbacks that we can get in the next round or after. Like,
that's why I had penciled in, so I'm good with Dobbins.
Do you feel better about Edmonds or someone like that?
No,
that's okay. Yeah, and it's like, okay, maybe JK is not to be like. I mean, JK after CEH and Ramondre, and it's like, come on, what are we doing here?
JK after CEH. I mean, like, I don't know. My feelings on CEH are known, but J.K. Dobbins was awesome before he got hurt. I understand it's a major injury, but
awesome. Whatever. It's like, okay, J.K. we can just view as like a later dart for us. Do you want to go Brady, or I think we should skip it and push it? And
what about Amari?
You cool with Amari? Yeah, I think at this cost we just have to price enforce.
Yeah.
And scoop him.
I'm not drafting a lot of Amari, but it's the 8th round.
I'm not drafting a lot of Amari either, especially for a site like Drafters. He's probably worse. Maybe. But with this group of 6, like, let's tack on a 7th, maybe late, and let's push it.
Let's push it. Yeah.
The only question is,
we have work to do. We're probably going three at the onesies, I would imagine.
Yes, at least, or like I'll go 4 at tight end sometimes if I have to.
Okay.
Where it's just like, I don't see the path of me competing against Kelsey, Andrews, Kittle, Waller, like at Pitts, any of those guys smashing without a volume-based approach, and just hoping I can like ping pong 10 points. Depending who we get, like there's some guys where I will do it with 2 or 3, but if our first tight end is like Logan Thomas, that's what I'm doing 4.
First tight end, yeah. All right, we're down to push it apparently.
Let's get your take on the Pitts versus Andrews. I think you're Pitts. I'm Andrews.
I'm Andrews.
Yo, you're Andrews. Okay, good to hear. Yeah. I think Leone said the other day that like Andrews is who we want Pitts to be. The other thing I was thinking the other day is like a bet against Mark Andrews is probably a bet against a Hall of Famer for a younger potential Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
I don't know if Mark Andrews is destined for the Hall, but if he keeps this, he had 18-point PPR average last year. That should go down a little bit. I think some of those big spikes were a little fluky. But on the other hand, they shipped out Marquise Brown. The running backs are injured. So, like, why would he not get 6 to 10 targets a game?
And so one of the things, so I just I have my I have the walkthrough out today, which is my preview column that I do every week. So this is previewing week 1, and in it I created a chart where I looked at the yards per route run for all the top Ravens guys: Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, and Rashad Bateman, with and without in games with and without Jackson. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing is he got a lot of good games from
Huntley. But if you look at what happened with Huntley, Brown
Lamar was injured a little bit too.
Lamar was also injured a little bit too. So some of the Jackson games are like half Huntley games, but that's how I don't have the targets from each guy, unfortunately.
And the Ravens were trying to get back, like they were trying to get into the playoffs, so they probably rushed Lamar. Like what I'm trying to say is Lamar was not 100% for every Lamar game.
For sure. But you do see a major impact for the wide receivers. Both were under 1 yards per out run, which is like super bad for a wide receiver. Like pick a wide receiver that sucked last year. They probably had over 1 yards per out run. But with Lamar, Brown was at 1.86 and Rashad Bateman was at 1.78, which are both pretty good numbers. Andrews was at 2 with Lamar, which is better than both receivers and an elite mark for a tight end. He was at 2.58 with Huntley. So he improved with Huntley. That narrative is true. But he was still the best guy on the team with Lamar Jackson, even when Marquise Brown was there. So I don't know.
And the narrative about Lamar is he struggles to throw outside the numbers, where Mark Andrews doesn't run routes.
Yeah. I think that narrative is a little overblown, but...
Agreed, but still, like, if we have that narrative,
Right.
So this is a range where we should probably grab...
Anyway, Andrews is elite, is my point. He's elite, and he's the top target on the team.
Cool. Let's just make our picks real quick, and then I'll give you some thoughts. Are you cool with Hunt here?
Yeah, I'm cool with Hunt. What about Patterson as a...
I have, like, infinite Patterson. Hunt usually doesn't make it back here, and it's like...
Okay.
I think we could maybe get Patterson on the wrap.
Okay.
And we have, like, a... Like, do you think Patterson scores more points than Hunt this season? I kind of do. Like, I agree with you.
I just liked Patterson with Dobbins.
Yeah, but I mean, Hunt is the O line for me. That's sticky now.
Yeah.
Is like and I don't know. Like, I have infinite. Okay, Knox was another guy I really wanted. Obviously, I'm in on Knox. I thought it was funny that what I wanted to tell Gretch if I was in that stream was like, why Knox is allowed to improve just like wide receivers do. Like I know you're a little bit down on that too, but.
I don't think he's good, but I was also your pro.
I know. I saw.
I was a pro Knox, and I don't think he's good.
So we should probably go Carr, but if we want to punt and grab Cook, just because we feel much better about Cook, we could do that.
I think I'd rather grab Carr.
Yeah, he's a safe thing when you take Adams, we pretty much have to. I feel. Because otherwise it's like we're just wrong on Adams and he's not that good this year, which that seems unlikely too. The Hunt versus Patterson thing, I don't know. I guess I like Hunt more on underdog and Patterson more on drafters, where we don't care about the age cliff and blah blah blah. And
I just think like if you're looking at Brissett, what's the offense going to look like with Brissett? Like they're not going to be as many dump off passes.
Well, they have to run the ball
Watson's
more.
And they'll run the ball more. So it feels like maybe more Chubb.
Yeah.
Hunt will get his, but like I don't know it's not going to be this high flying offense where you're excited to have a pass catching running back necessarily. So, and then if we have Dobbins, so I was thinking like early season production.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, I guess Hunt is young, and like he has a much. I don't know. Like, I love Patterson, so maybe Patterson was the guy to take there, but it was just kind of like an ADP thing on me. Not that that's right to do. I have 22% Patterson.
Hey, Liam.
Drafters.
Live a little.
You're right, man. The other thing is Patterson's facing target competition from now London too.
London's banged up.
Do we think Crack Rock has an actual source there for the torn meniscus, or was he just like theorizing?
I don't. Crack Rock was enjoying himself that night, so I don't know.
The walrus is legendary. But the point is, okay, DPJ, David Bell, like I take pieces like this. Njoku, I take a lot. Cooper's not exactly the scariest guy to like. The point is like there could be some dump offs, like more like they might just have to play Hunt slot like type routes or 2 RB. I don't know. It's cutting hairs, but the Patterson with Dobbins parents makes a lot of sense to me. So we'll just have to do an extra.
That's all it was for me. It was just like let me find a guy who pairs well with Dobbins.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's check in on Davis's team. So he went Hurts and got Smith, which allowed us to get Mooney. He also went Olave over Cooper. So Davis is the reason we're winning $250K this year. So this is not a range I want to force a tight end. I think we wait on that.
I agree.
I do think we should consider Fields if he makes it to us, because otherwise someone can take Komet and Fields on us on the turn, like Davis.
Davis, he's got what, one quarterback?
He's got Hurts, but like Hurts,
yeah.
Fields, Komet, like that makes sense from his point of view.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so Fields goes,
Fields
so no
goes.
worries there.
So
that
Rashad White's my
means-
biggest stand in all of fantasy football.
I have a ton of White, yeah.
Happy
Very
to
big
have
bag on White. Just want to check in at the other positions, see who's out there. Okay,
I feel
let's take
good
White
about
here.
our wide receiver move, man. It got real dry.
Yeah, Dubs is a guy who's ADP. I got a sharp comment the other day. So Davis goes Komet in a coat. Like, we're gonna double tap tight end probably here. Is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But there's one guy I think we should consider taking, and that's Michael Gallup and being done.
What about Michael Carter? Another early season guy really could help.
Michael
us.
Carter. Like, the question is, do we go Gallup, who I think contributes? It's hard because I like Carter too.
Carter's
Gallup is
perfect
like-
for the Hunt, White,
Yeah,
Dobbins. We
we
need
gotta
a Carter.
go Carter. If Carter was gone, I would go Gallup, but
Carter's going to produce right away.
agreed. And like, maybe White doesn't. Maybe whatever. I have a big bag on Carter too. I also still have Breece Hall. Like, I feel like, dude, the fear closer to the season really picks up. Like, that's what we're we're seeing. Like, the aren't you worried seat. Like, Breece Hall is now a late 5th pick. Who are some other? Dobbins is a fear guy.
Dobbins is justifiably. The fear is justified to some extent. Like
not for Best Ball Mania 3, where you don't give a shit about weeks 1.
Sure.
Like, people just, again, they do not understand the game they're playing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
They understand the 12-man league where it's like, oh, dang, I spent a pick on my early guy. Like, I probably, like, that hurts me a little bit. But you're welcome, Chris. Wanted to make sure Gallup didn't make it back to you, so I made sure to tout him. Can't be having you win a $250K against
Chris goes, take Carter, trust me. As he wanted Gallup.
Carter, the case for Gallup is this is the wide receivers we're looking at now, where, I mean, again, we don't need to even take a wide receiver with our group. But there's names I like here, but I don't know. Gallup could easily average like 15 points per game or something PPR if he's healthy early. I don't know.
I think he's more of a guy who could be that, or maybe a little bit more down the stretch. He did avoid the IR, which is nice.
Yeah, which is not. We've seen this in the past where teams do not IR a guy because they want him to play, and then, like, I think that's what happened to Michael Thomas. I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, they were like
maybe
holding out hope he could return, and then it got worse. So we've seen it not.
Yeah. It doesn't guarantee he's playing in like week 2 or 3. Like,
or week 4 even.
Or
like,
week 4, yeah.
I want to touch on this comment because I want to say some things on it. Reed asked, do you view positive or negative news on ACL guys as correlated to the other ACL guys? Seems like Godwin is coming back freakishly early. Does that bode well for the others? In general, Reed, I think a lot of things we should realize are changing in the NFL. Science is getting better. Medicine's getting better. Things like draft capital per position is changing. So whereas previously you could say, oh, a round 4 rookie running back doesn't do X, you need to realize that NFL teams are drafting running backs later now. So you cannot compare a round 4 rookie running back of today's drafts to, a decade ago where those round 4 guys were maybe round 7. When guys don't go in the round 1, it changes it. And maybe it doesn't change it for every round. I think we should reach, quote unquote, on Mostert here.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm down with that. That would certainly help us with the early season stuff.
Yeah, he's a guy I'm trying, and he's just like the perfect best ball guy. A guy I'm trying to get more of because I kind of was like I have some Mostert, I have a little Michelle, but he's a guy I'm trying to catch up the speed on, and he's a guy who I'm confident is climbing in ADP.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting ahead of that curve.
So
And
what's
then-
the other position here? You think do tight end?
Yeah, we
probably
gotta
get
go.
one.
I think we should go tight end, and just whatever we'll throw on some.
So
wide
I don't
receiver.
like Gesicki or Henry at all. I think they might both be part-time players.
Agreed. I think it's Everett or Higbee.
Those are the guys I like too.
There's been some real recent positive buzz on Everett. I'm not fully believers in that buzz. Chargers are in the same division as the Raiders, so that's a small positive for us.
Yeah, sure. I like both guys a lot. I have a ton of both.
I'm more
They're
Higbee.
probably my two. They might be my two highest owned.
Yeah, and with Everett as our one, unless a guy slips to us in the 15, might just have to go 4 at the position.
I think so. Yeah, I'm down.
Chris, take Higbee. Trust me, Chris. A lot of trust you wanted to put in us.
Yeah, Higbee's my highest owned tight end.
Yeah, like with Knox, I fully recognize he could score or be outscored by the Higbee, Everett, Njoku tier of guys. Like I fully realize that. He's also the only guy who I'm confident could be viewed in the, Kittle plus tier if he develops.
Yeah, I think the Goddard's that guy for me. I think if the Eagles pass more than we're expecting, he was already insanely efficient when he was post Ertz trade. He was the number one target on the team, led the team in target share after Ertz was traded, and his yards per out run spiked. He went up to like 2.6 yards per out run or something, which is like off the charts. Generally what we see from only guys like Kittle or something. So to be hyper efficient when your volume is increasing is like a really nice sign to me that you might be an elite talent. So to me, hammering Goddard in that
Goddard
range.
turns 28 in January. Knox turns 26 in November. So he's been in the league longer. The thing about Knox is he was like a quarterback in high school, and so like I don't hold back his tight end lack of stats at Ole Miss, who underused all their stars, and
Goddard was an FCS guy, so you can't.
I had like a ton of Goddard last year. I had like a ton. For me, I guess it's like the presence of AJ Brown has
it's not ideal.
scared me off more. Where it's like he's comfortably now.
You need the Eagles to pass a lot. AJ Brown, you can get there. He's just a target hog. But Goddard needs the Eagles to pass more.
Yeah, and like I take Goddard still. Like I want to be clear there, but all right, we're getting to a range where we could squeeze a Jameson Williams on this team if we wanted, just because we have the firepower to make it work. Noah Fant goes. He's really the only guy I wanted to go there. I would do McKinnon too.
Yeah, I'm down with McKinnon.
I feel really good about McKinnon, especially early season. All right, let's do McKinnon. I've been this Mostert McKinnon pairing. I've been doing a lot lately. Whereas like McKinnon's seen the field week 1, I'm not convinced White is. I'm not convinced Dobbins is. Pretty convinced the rest of our guys are seeing the field week 1.
Yep. White will. He's the starting kick returner, so he'll be active. But it might not matter. He might have
active, but I mean seeing the field on offense, not.
No, but I think he'll be mixed in because they're saying he's the running back too, and he's definitely 100% going to be active, even if he isn't. Maybe if he's the running back 3, he'll still be active. So, but yeah, he might have like 3 points. Might not matter.
Yeah, the college stats things. Knox was competing against DK, AJ Brown a lot. Like that's a good point. Anyways,
yeah, I'm not holding his college stats against him. He's just never been efficient in any season as a pro.
No, he's only been efficient last year, right? Like
in terms of touchdown scoring, but if you just look at his yards per route, he's always been very bad.
Okay, yeah. We'll see if that changes this year. I'm betting it will a little bit. So, I mean, Jameson is there, or I don't know. What do you want to do?
Are we risking it at quarterback here? How are we gonna?
I think we do. Unless, do you feel good about Hayden Hurst right now?
I actually feel okay about Hayden Hurst. I think it's his role.
Let's do Hurst. Are we stopping at 6 wide receivers, or do you want a 7?
I'm open to either. I guess I generally like to tack on an extra one in pretty much whatever. But if you think 6 is better here, I'm open to that.
Really, it depends who we get to fall to us at quarterback. Like, if we're looking at some guys who we're not sure if we're going to see the field, we might need to go like 4. Who knows? We'll see that. We just need to protect. We need to, like, I feel really good about our running backs and wide receivers that this group could conceivably win the contest. We need to find the points at tight end and quarterback to support them. And with Carr, like, you can do 2 quarterbacks with Carr. Like, you're betting on a approaching 5,000 yards, approaching 30 touchdowns type of season, which is like, 80% Mahomes or something like that, 90% Mahomes.
Their offensive line scares me. It does.
The same.
It feels like McDaniels may, like, anytime he can kind of get a team that's not putting up a ton of points on them, that he's not going to be pushing it. Like, I do think
he doesn't want to do the shootouts.
Yeah, that they're not going to be resistant to shootouts in the way like the Vikings are or the Seahawks are, where they just like straight up won't do it.
Well, in their division, they don't have a chance. They don't have a choice.
So I think he'll be game if like the Chiefs are putting up points, that he'll play fast and try to put up points as well. But in games where the offense is not going to push them, I do feel like they might go like power personnel, just try to smash him with Zamir White, that type of stuff.
It feels good that we have pieces from the AFC West division where we have Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
I do like
Chiefs. Just feels nice, like the way I think about, obviously you get more correlated games, but also the way I think about it sometimes is that second game in a division matchup is anecdotally to me sometimes a lower scoring game because defenses can now adjust for your scheme. Like, it really depends on the coach and whatnot, but like the second time is something.
I think there's something to that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the second time you see a team, you can make plans. And obviously some other teams will be better at predicting plans to be made, blah, blah, blah. Are you scared at all about the Bengals, like, immediately trying to sign O.J. Howard and then signing someone else, dude? Like, they didn't sign O.J. Howard, but did you view that?
They claimed Devin Asiasi after working O.J. Howard out. It's not ideal, and Hayden Hurst is not very good and has been passed. Although you can't really blame him for getting passed by Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts. Anyone would, he could be like Hunter Henry would have gotten passed by those guys. But it's a little concerning for sure, just in terms of like, will he have all the routes? But like CJ Uzama had 75% of the routes last year. I feel like Hurst can be in that range, and at this price, we're fine. And Asiasi is he's a reserve. We don't have to worry about him.
That makes sense to me. I think we should go Mariota.
Okay.
I think he has the highest upside in this group, and we can tack a third on there. Like, we could do the Tannehill Malik Willis combo even.
That's fun.
It doesn't bother me eating a dead roster spot where, like, we're just trying to hope that we're nutted at wide receiver and running back enough.
Yeah.
I never even showed you this. I meant to show you the winning teams from last year in drafters and underdog. So I'll remember to click back on this after I make our 2 picks. Meant to do that earlier. Chris, relax, brother. Is there a tight end you have conviction on? I think we maybe go quarterback, tight end, and we wait.
Okay.
And we take Tannehill now, or do you want to go Wentz?
I like Tannehill more than Wentz.
Okay, let's go. The only thing about Tannehill is we need Mariota to play.
We need one of those guys not to get benched.
Well, we need Mariota to play week 6 because Carr and Tannehill have a week 6 bye.
He'll play week 6.
Yeah.
Ritter stinks.
Tannehill can do it on the ground. We don't care about the lack of stacks. So this was the drafters winner last year. I think it's just, we shouldn't take sweeping takeaways from this, but it is interesting that they basically had a one tight end team. I'm not showing that to you. Let me. I could tell from your eyes you weren't seeing this, but not. No, let me share window and this. Okay, now I can click back and forth. So I had Burrow and Cousins, so two good. Andrews and Herndon, 8-0 at Michael Thomas, and pretty much was a 5 wide receiver team with Smith, Kirk, Waddle, Chase, Cup. Obviously, DPJ had some spikes. Watkins had maybe 1 week, but I don't think Rager contributed. 3 strong running backs where Scott gave you some weeks, Jamal gave you some weeks, P. Ryan and Bernard did. The underdog team, Hayden Wink sent me the highest scoring regular season underdog team. Which, I know Alex Baker of Osimo has said the third quarterback. Daniel Jones, I kind of looked at it differently than him. Obviously, this team is better because it's a bigger field, and it will take even a better team than this team to win drafters this year. But, I went the Stafford, Herbert, Daniel Jones. I said no to 3 quarterbacks when you have 2 because he added 20. Daniel Jones added 20 points over the course of a season, which is around 1.3 points a week, which the way that the Osimo article looked at it to me was on average, you're going to be better off taking that third quarterback, which I don't disagree with. On average, getting 20 points from a late round pick is great. However, we're not looking for average. We're looking for Cordell Patterson, Elijah Mitchell, where when you landed on those guys, if those guys exist, you're not adding just 20 points to your roster. You could be adding 120. So we should not be that's what I think was the how I looked at it differently than him there.
I looked at him a little bit differently as well in the underdog format with the playoff weeks. Where
Agreed.
it's you're not seeing a ton of those late round quarterbacks actually hit spike weeks in the playoffs. And so if you're looking for spike weeks in the playoffs and the quarterbacks aren't doing them, then why are you taking quarterback in the final rounds as a third guy? The second quarterback's probably just helping you get through the bye weeks and a couple weeks in the regular season. If you're getting spike weeks that take you through, it's probably from skill positions in the late rounds.
Okay, so we need a tight end. Let's let Case Smith pick here because I've noticed he's to snipe some of the targets we say. Randall Cobb in the 17th. Oof. The room dried up.
I feel good about a tight end.
I feel real good about one of them. I don't think we agree on the tight end.
I don't think we agree on it, though. Yeah. I think I know. Do you want to guess mine and I'll guess yours?
Yeah. What's your guess for mine?
I think yours is Jonnu.
Mine's Conklin.
Oh, okay. Mine was Trey McBride.
I think we can push on Trey. Are you cool with Conklin first?
Yeah, I'm cool with Conklin.
Okay. Conklin to me, he gave you a bunch of, we saw him do it, right? 10, 16, 12. I caught one bit of the preseason game. He looked good, man. Got a visor on. He looked good catching passes from Joe Burrow. Buzz is he's the pass catching guy. Just feel that, and it's a piece of an offense that's going to have to throw. Probably benefits from Joe Burrow out there. They're going to run 2 tight end. And let's do McBride to finish this out. Unless you want to do Malik or someone like Aguilar or Shakir.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm open to the other guys. But McBride's just he was a second-round pick. Ertz is already banged up. And the whole play with Ertz is he ran a lot of routes last year. We don't even need the guy to be good with McBride.
All right, we want McBride. I like it, man. So OXD says, you guys don't think you're thin at wide receiver with 6? Aren't you worried? No, I'm not worried. The real question is, if Godwin doesn't play until week 8, that this team is dead. If Godwin plays week 4 or earlier, and is Chris Godwin, we are fine. Yeah, Conklin plays for the Jets. That's what I said.
You said Burrow. You think you meant Flacco.
Oh yeah, sorry, Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco.
I did want to address it. Someone was mentioning I was talking about how the quarterbacks haven't spiked, and they said I think that could be a bias because they haven't spiked yet in the playoffs doesn't mean they can't. I was looking at all weeks over the last 3 seasons, so not just the playoffs. I was looking.
Well, I want to say 2 things on that too. One is in this article I wrote, I kind of looked strictly at the quarterback position to see what happened last year, and now last year you could get Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr late. So those guys were smashes, but the summary was the nuts if you were punting quarterback, if I can find that section of my article, was to go let me find out where I mentioned Mac Jones. Yeah, it was to do Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, and Zach Wilson, purely because Mac Jones and Zach Wilson's gave you the at least the 19 points, 23 points, 22 points in the playoff rounds, where Cousins got you there and these guys did in the playoffs, which is but what I wanted to say is there are some guys with some ceilings in the late round that there are some Konami quarterbacks in the late round this year, and Mariota and Willis, maybe even a Pickett to a degree. If he's running a lot. Obviously Watson is out there. I don't really play it that way, but Tannehill too. Tannehill used to go in the 10th or something last year, something absurd.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I kind of like Tannehill, partly because he's been good, and Malik Willis has so far to go as an actual quarterback, and I like Malik Willis a lot as a fantasy prospect, but I'm skeptical. I think he's maybe he might be on the Hurts trajectory, maybe he gets in at the very end of the season. But I don't think there's really any chance that Malik Willis is in.
I think it's a mistake to play huge field tournaments and have 0 Malik Willis. I will say that.
Are you doing Malik Willis on Underdog?
I've done it a little bit on Underdog. I've done it a little bit everywhere.
It's easier for me on DraftKings to mix him in, but
sure, DK easier 20 rounds, but even Underdog, that what you're saying is logical, but that doesn't mean that if Willis could have a goal line role from week 1. He could be the goal line quarterback. I don't know. He also the Titans could be a 4-win team, or maybe not 4 wins. They could be a really bad team, and they're what the hell are we doing? To me, they clearly looked at themselves in the face and they said, we're in the AFC. We were the 1 seed last year. We were not a good enough football team with Ryan Tannehill at helm. We are in a conference with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, all these good young quarterbacks. They need something like a Malik Willis to be something to keep apart. No, I don't agree, man. If Malik it's not only playoffs. If Ryan Tannehill gets hurt week 1, Malik Willis is now he's
a smash. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Money Team 1. Do you think the odds Ryan Tannehill gets hurt week 1 is less than 1 in 55,000 or more? Because if you think it's more than 1 in 55,000, aka it happens more often than that, you should sprinkle some in, or don't.
Think about it.
I'm fully aware that I'm going to lose usually with those Willis teams, and he's going to be a 0. But that's not how you should build a team. So, anyways, Pat, I think this is I really like this team. Obviously, it's extreme, right? We built extreme.
It's fragile. It's fragile.
It's a very fragile, extreme team, but we're fragile with studs at wide receiver, where it's we just need Devontae Adams to be good, Gabe Davis to be good, Jerry Jeudy to be good, Chris Godwin to be good and healthy, Darnell Mooney to be good. Pieces that make sense. Quarterback, we're really hoping for Mariota and Tannehill to just give us those games on the ground. Running back, I really like our group of 7 here, where we have bunch of upside, and
you could see this group working together well over the course of the season.
Very much so. Like Jerick McKinnon giving you a week 1, 10 points, and then Mostert gives you a couple 20-point weeks. Tight end, we just had to go volume, and like maybe Trey McBride adds nothing, but if Trey McBride, like when you go volume, you should mix in a ceiling play guy, which I would say like McBride and Dulcich both are, or like Logan Thomas is, where it's like
Logan Thomas is another guy I feel like I need to be drafting more of.
I
might play week 1.
I have a ton of Logan Thomas.
Okay, all right. I've missed the boat. I need to fix that.
Well, I was drafting him before I knew if he was playing week 1. So when he was not on PUP, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm all in. And
all right,
so
I'm drafting. I'm gonna fire one up right now.
So feel good about this team. Let me print screen this. How do I do this? Menu key Shift S. And boom. And I'm going to send this to you in the tweet here. Drafters team. It is team 110 of mine. So I got 40 more to do. I thought it was 111, but whatever. All right, Pat, man. This is probably our last stream we're doing together of the off season. Maybe we'll get together mid-season, check in on some teams of ours. Hopefully one of us is at the top of a leaderboard. We can do like a quarterly check-in or some DFS stuff.
And I'll see you in Vegas.
Well, what do you? I don't know if I can go, man. I got a wedding in England. I'm looking at it today, so I really want to go. But if I'm going to that wedding in England, it's like
you mentioned Vegas before we went live, so that I got all excited.
No, I really want to go, and like mainly I want to go to meet you guys. Like I just was in Vegas. I don't really want to go to Vegas to be in Vegas. But I want to go to hang out with you guys in person and have some dinners and have some drinks. Can I still sign up for those live drafts if things change?
I don't know.
I'm sure someone would let me split a main event with them.
That's your move, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm happy to. I think someone will be happy to have me. I hope. Guys, please hit this fucking subscribe button so I can stop these fucking streams.
Let's get this man to 1,000 here, guys.
Get my 10 cents. Get my 10 cents a month for life. That's compounding right there, guys. Passive income.
Don't start playing clips because the NFL is coming for our monetization now.
I wanted to ask you, do you think it was worth it though?
Yes.
Yeah, like to me, it was like I want to start playing I want to play the ESPN music like
it doesn't.
And I realize that like content creators sometimes play things at like 1.1x speed or 1.2, like they speed it up and then the algorithm can't catch it as much. But I like if it grows your channel and all you have to do is like take that video down expo facto and not your whole channel, like who cares?
Yeah.
But if it costs you your whole channel, that's not as cool.
Well, I don't think they're coming for the channel. They just come for the monetization on our Justin Tucker. Whenever we play the Justin Tucker, but the Justin Tucker clip, I mean, we literally play him every time he is drafted, so it's every stream.
So good. All right, Pat, put a wrap up on this, the streams we've done for the off season, and tell the people what you got coming down the pipeline for week 1 of NFL. I'm not really sure what your in the season content looks like.
Well, it looks like what's out today, the walkthrough, which is a game-by-game preview. You can check that out. I mentioned the stat about the Ravens yards per out run with and without Jackson. That's in there. Lots of other really good nuggets, kind of getting into the game flow of how I think these week 1 matchups will play out. Projecting, looking at target shares, snap shares, just like diving in, found some really interesting stuff. Should also help with betting and over-unders and sides and all that as well, because it gives you a good sense of how these teams might interact with each other and the defensive matchups, offensive line, all that good stuff. So that's out right now, and I'll be doing that every week during the season. And, you can also check out the legendary Upside article if you're still drafting. That's, I think, very helpful for just kind of thinking through those early rounds as well.
Yeah, check that out. Always a great read, and the article last year put like ripples through the industry. I would say a must-read piece, and this year just as good. Guys, if you're a subscriber of mine, click the bell. I think that's good for my channel too. And once this stream ends, right after it ends, refresh it and drop a comment down the YouTube. Help my algorithm, guys. Come on now. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll be back Tuesday for sure, splitting the main event with Kyle Dvorak and Davis Maddock, who are just battling. Let's look at this Davis team real quick. What do you think about it? Trash. No, I'm kidding. Looks in
fairness to him, he was streaming on a different stream that wasn't this.
We know that Davis is a multitasker. I think this is a fine built team by him, where like we have more top end wide receiver power, and like his back end depth is a little bit more questionable. But
yeah, for sure,
this team is totally fun.
But I like the Pollard Patterson combo. That's fun.
Yeah, and like I think Boston Scott like could piss off a lot of people and be the 2.
For sure.
Over Gainwell, like that's totally feasible.
I think that's in play.
That's very in play. Like, dude, look at this. Look at these weeks from him. Like 12, 13, 10, 24, 10. Not like the dude spiked. Plays with the best O-line in football. All right, guys, have a great day. See you later.